What's happening, boys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to your Smackdown review. And this episode was a bit bumpy, good in places and in other places, but yeah, let's get into it. We kicked off the show with a pretty decent Jacob Fatu promo, and he was saying Roman's basically been handed everything in WWE and Jacob's had to work to get to WWE. And pretty much this promo was saying that they're trying to keep Roman away from Jacob Fatu because they know he's going to lose to him. It's about protecting Roman because he knows that Roman is scared of Jacob Fatu and he will not beat him, which I kind of enjoyed that. I think Jacob Fatu's put himself really as a big danger to Roman's title reign here, which I do enjoy. It makes it feel a lot more important that maybe Roman could lose his title. And then the Usos interrupt him, and Jimmy's saying to Jacob Fatu, "Are you really sure you want to go down this road? Like, it's going to be a tough loss if you lose. You're going to have to acknowledge Roman, and it's just not going to work out for you." And then Jay basically comes in and he's like, "I've been down this road. You do not want to face Roman. You will get your ass handed to you." And Jacob's like, "I'm not having any of this." He's like, "I'm not you, Jay. I'm better than you. I can beat Roman, unlike you." And then Jacob Fatu gives the Usos a stern warning. He goes, "If you get involved in my match, I will burn this whole goddamn family tree to the ground." And I'm like, ooh, what are we gonna get? Well, this definitely hyped me up for the match, so I cannot wait for this match. Okay, and then we had the Women's US Championship match between Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James, and honestly, this match was really good. I enjoyed it. Kiana James looked really good in this. She showed a lot of her ability that we don't normally get to see, which was really nice to see. And Tiffany looked really good in this match, obviously. But yeah, there were some really nice spots in this match where Kiana James used the ring post to smash Tiffany's legs across it, and it looked pretty nasty. There was another spot during the match where Tiffany went for a springboard stunner and then hit a basement dropkick, and this basement dropkick looked pretty gross. Like, she kicked her right in the face. But this match also had a bit of drama between Kiana James and Julia, and we're seeing week by week now that this seed's getting planted to this split. And this time it was Julia inadvertently costing Kiana James the match. But Julia distracted the referee a little bit too long, where he didn't even notice that Kiana had rolled up Tiffy, potentially for the free count, to win the US Women's Championship. And rightfully, Kiana James is pissed off at Julia, and she goes over and confronts her. She's like, "What have you just done? You've just cost me the championship." And then out of nowhere, as her back is turned, Tiffy hits her with the rolling elbow into the prettiest moonsault ever, and the match is done. Tiffy retains, and you can just see the tension building up between Julia and Kiana James. So I'm seeing the split coming very soon, and that feud I think will be absolutely fire, honestly. But yeah, that was a pretty good match. And then we had a match between Damian Priest and Tala Tonga, and honestly, this was a really fun big man match. Like, for what it was really good. The match kicked off with a fast out of the block start from Damian Priest as he attacked Tala Tonga before the bell had even rung, and he takes him to the outside and hits his head off the barricades a couple times just to get the upper hand to start trying to get some momentum built early on and not give Tala a chance to even get into the match. Well, that momentum from Priest didn't last too long as it swung towards Tala Tonga, and Tala Tonga got back into this in quick style. He hit Priest with this really nasty ram into the ring post, and Priest hit the back of his head and his back, and this was effortless from Tala Tonga. The amount of strength this man must possess is unbelievable, because he just picked up Damian Priest like he was a rag doll, and you don't normally see that. Like, that is impressive strength from Tala Tonga. A really funny spot in this match where Damian Priest basically Spartan kicks Solo Sikoa out of his chair. It was actually really funny, and I enjoyed that. Just a comedy aspect in this, quite a serious match. It was quite funny. But towards the end of the match, Tama Tonga interferes long enough to get the referee's attention, and then Solo Sikoa uses the ropes to his advantage, takes out Damian Priest, and then Tala Tonga hits a clothesline from hell, and I'm thinking the match is over. I'm thinking this is the end. But we get the 2.99 kick out from Damian Priest, which I was actually kind of shocked by, because like, this is just a random episode of Smackdown, it's a random match. But yeah, we added a bit of drama, which was pretty cool. And then R-Truth comes out to even up the numbers because it's 3-1 against Damian Priest. But he actually does quite well. He takes out Tama and takes out Solo, and then Tala just boots him, and Damian Priest goes to check on him, but he's taking his eye off the ball for just a bit too long. Tala takes him out, puts him back in the ring, hits this nasty choke slam, and picks up the win. This is a huge win for Tala. But the MFTs are not done there. They decide to gang up on R-Truth as he's checking on Damien Priest after the match, and they're all circling him like sharks, and then Royce Keys' music hits, and I was like, okay, this is interesting, because they've got a little bit of thing going on with Royce Keys and Sol Sikoa, so I want to see where that goes. So Royce Keys makes the save and helps out Damien Priest and R-Truth, and the MFTs scatter away, and honestly, this was a fun segment. Like, I enjoyed this whole match. Like, this was a big man match I actually enjoyed. Like, it was actually quite physical, which is quite cool to see. But yeah, this was a good segment. And then we have a backstage segment between Gunther and Nick Aldis, and he's there to sign his official Smackdown contract, and it's interrupted by Cody Rhodes on a TV screen. I found this pretty cool. They basically play Cody Rhodes' entrance on a TV screen, and Gunther's not having it. He's like, this is my time, this is my slot, what are you doing? And then he's basically like, I'm not signing this, I'm meant to be the top guy now, I'm not signing this. So he storms out, and Cody's having his promo, and then Paul Heyman comes out, and Cody's like to Paul Heyman, he's like, are you Gunther's advocate now? Is it since Lesnar retired, are you now Gunther's advocate? And Paul Heyman's like, no, I'm not, I'm doing him a favour, and the favour is that he gets a WWE Championship match. Cody interrupts and he's like, he gets a WWE Championship match, let's do it right here, let's do it in Jacksonville. And Paul Heyman's like, no, we're not going to do it in Jacksonville, we're not even going to do it in the USA, we're going to do it in Torino, Italy, at Clash in Italy. And I'm like, ooh, this is going to be a good match, because it's going to be a hot European crowd, and obviously Gunther's Austrian, so we're going to see what that's going to be like, and that's going to be pretty cool. But yeah, that'll be a really good match. And Cody's like, during this promo, he's like, has everyone left you? You're no longer the wise man for Roman. You betrayed Punk. Lesnar's retired. Who's next? And then Heyman says something quite interesting. He goes, I'm not out of options, Cody. You're out of options. And he goes, they always come back to the wise man. They always come knocking. So is that planting the seed for Cody Rhodes potentially one day to be a Paul Heyman guy? Now that would be pretty crazy. I don't think Paul Heyman or Cody Rhodes need that though. So I don't know why they do that, but that might just be a thing of like everyone comes and gets him when they need him. Like Roman might need him in the future, or Punk might need him again, or even Breaker. So it was definitely an interesting thing for Paul Heyman to say. But yeah, that segment was pretty good. And then out of nowhere, Gunther comes and attacks Cody, but Cody gets the upper hand. Gunther keeps going for the sleeper, and I think it's starting to lose a little bit of its value in my eyes. I want to see him do something different, because like the sleeper's just getting a little bit old. He escapes the sleeper, hits Gunther with a microphone. Gunther tries to lock it in again, and then he tosses him out. And Gunther tries to get back into the ring, and Cody tosses him out again, and tosses him out again. And he's like, Gunther, I'm here every Friday. I'm easy to find, hard to beat. I think that's going to be his new quote, because, like, I mean, it's not bad. It's not too bad at all, but I think that's where he's going to go. But this segment was pretty fun overall. I didn't mind it at all. And then we had Mark Cardona versus Ricky Saints. And I just want to talk about Ricky Saints quickly, because this is looking a little bit bad for him now, because he's now had 2 Smackdowns with absolutely zero pop, and nobody cares. There's no reaction from the crowd whatsoever. He's not getting booed, he's not getting cheered, he's getting absolutely nothing off the crowd, and that's quite worrying. So we'll have to see what happens there. I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt, give him some time to get over. Maybe the crowd just isn't familiar with him yet, but it's getting a bit worrying. And the match as well, I just didn't care for it. It felt like 2 jobbers going at it, and I really don't want to say that about Ricky Saints, because he could be a big star in the WWE, but it just didn't feel like it was important at all. Like, I didn't really care for this match. Personally, I think it's a bad thing, because if you don't care, that's not good. You're not getting a good reaction, you're not getting a bad reaction, because if someone doesn't care, they do not care. You're never going to get over if someone doesn't care for you, which is quite worrying for Ricky Saints. But one thing I will say about Ricky Saints, he does play the heel character really well. The Weasley heel, where he rolled out and he was kicking the barricades and he was doing heel tactics. I think he done that very well, but overall, the match was alright. He won with a Rochambeau, which was pretty cool. But yeah, this match was a bit meh. I just don't have really much to say about it, unfortunately. It really just wasn't important to me. It felt really just there. And then we had a Brie Bell and Paige promo, and they're basically just calling out everyone for a chance at their titles. It was pretty nothing promo. Fatal Influence comes out, and they say they're going to take all the gold off everyone, and JC Jane's going to become the world champion. Fallon Henley and Lainey Reed are going to become the tag team champions, which, I mean, I wouldn't mind. That'd be cool to have a whole faction with titles. Like, it's pretty cool. But then they get interrupted by Lash Legend and Nia Jax, and they're basically like, nope, we're first in line, get back to the back of the line. And I'm like, alright, and then they hit Brie Bella and Paige with the microphones, and that's pretty much it. They destroy the champions, and basically just leave the ring. Like, it was a bit of a mid-promo, honestly. Okay, let's get on to the match between Fatal Influence and Charlexa and Rhea Ripley, and this match was pretty good, but first I want to talk about Rhea Ripley's entrance. She had a face-off with Lash Legend, and that looks pretty cool. This looks like a nice match that will come, like, at some point down the line. Like, I do not mind that face-off. But the match overall was pretty good. I did enjoy it. Fatal Influence looked really good as a heel faction. Like, they were playing the role really well, taunting the crowd, taunting Charlexa and Rhea Ripley. And they played it really well. The only thing that I've seen out of this is Lainey Reed looks a little bit green, but obviously she will be because she's been called up so early as part of this faction. She's only been in the company less than a year, which is pretty impressive to get called up at that stage. So she's definitely going to look a little bit more green than everyone, but from what I've seen, she looked good. Fallon Henley and Jacy Jayne, they played really well in this match. They played the heel characters, like I say, really well. Jacy Jayne obviously looks the best out of the lot, but yeah, it was a good match. And there were also a couple cool spots in this match. Rhea Ripley hit a nice cannonball to the outside of the ring and taking out Fallon Henley and Lainey Reed, which was pretty cool. But later on in the match, something happened I wasn't really expecting out of this match. Jade Cargill got involved. She pulled Rhea Ripley off the ring apron, and that allowed Fatal Influence and Jacy Jayne just enough time for Alexa Bliss to have her back turned for her hit the Rolling Encore and pick up, quite frankly, a huge win against 3 of the top faces in the company, which was pretty impressive. Like, you don't see that often. Like, this is a big push they're getting, you can tell. So I do see championships in their future. Like, maybe SummerSlam they might pick up a few championships, I don't know. But yeah, this match was pretty good. But there was a post-match beatdown with Michin, B-Fab and Jade Cargill on basically everyone except Fatal Influence. What is that faction, honestly? But yeah, I don't know why they're involved. Maybe going for tag team gold or something, and Jade Cargill wants the championship back, I don't know. But yeah, it was an interesting end to a really fun match. And then we had Royce Keys versus Tama Tonga in Royce Keys' first non-squash match. He actually went quite long in this match, and it was actually a pretty decent match between Royce Keys and Tama Tonga. The MFT were heavily involved in this match, though. Tama Tonga was basically squaring up to Royce Keys every chance he got, but Royce Keys looked really dominant in this match, which I think they're going to be building him as this big monster character, who I think the only way will get stopped is Obafemi going for a big dog like that. But yeah, I see some good stuff for Royce Keys in the future. There were some fun spots in this match as well. Royce Keys basically hulked up against Tama Tonga during his match at the end. He basically was getting kicked and he was no selling it. He was like, punch me again. And then he threw Tama Tonga out the ring. Tama Tonga was like, whoa. He's kind of like, what is this guy? And then at the end of the match, I think was a really fun. Tama Tonga went for a top rope maneuver, and Royce Keys caught him in this nasty spine buster, which I think is going to be his finisher. But yeah, it was a really fun match, and Royce Keys' first proper long match where he looked quite dominant as well, which I did enjoy. And I think there's going to be a lot of turmoil in the MFTs at the moment, because Tama Tonga looks like he is going to be splitting from them at some point. They're going to turn on him, or he's going to turn on them, something along them lines, but it's just building up that more that Tama Tonga took this loss. Then we had a fun backstage segment with Danhausen trying to clone himself as he was given the idea of missing Kit Wilson earlier in the night because he cannot get a tag team partner. But he's going to clone himself, and it was ready for Backlash, and then the machine broke and he dropped an F-bomb, which was kind of funny. They bleeped it. It was a really good use of the bleep. But yeah, it was a funny segment just to lighten the mood throughout it, because it was a sad day what was coming up, because we had the funeral of the gingerbread man. Honestly, it was heartbreaking. It was so sad that they even had a little remembrance vignette for him of all the great things he'd done. He climbed Mount Everest, he'd been to the moon, all the good times with Trick and Yoi. It was so sad. Genuinely so sad. It had me sobbing. I was that sad. But yeah, it was a brilliant memorial tribute to him. It was incredible for such a loving gingerbread man taken so soon by such an evil man in Sami Zayn. Rest in peace, Gingy. Rest in peace. And the cherry on top is that Trick Williams even had the choir sing a song about him, and he rapped, and it was beautiful. It was a great send-off. And then Sami Zayn ruined it. He came out and he was like, why are you using TV time for this stupid funeral that's making fun of him? That he just doesn't understand how important the gingerbread man was to us fans. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting how he treated us. But he says that he's wasting TV time and the main event's meant to be for something special. This was special, Sammy. This was special. But in all seriousness, he had some very, very valid points during this. Like if I'm not being taken the mick, he had some very valid points during this. But back to it, Sami Zayn get in the ring and he was confronting Trick. He's like, why are you doing this? Why are you wasting my time? Why are you making fun of me? And then he attacks Trick on a funeral. How dastardly is that? That is disgusting behaviour. But, oh my god, an absolute miracle happened. As Sami Zayn is beaten down on Trick Williams and rises up his US Championship, a miracle occurred. Shinji revived himself. He came back from the dead just to save Trick Williams. It turned out it was a little Yachty, not the real Ginger Man. So let's think about this for a second. Little Yachty gutted the real gingerbread man and went and wore his skin. How morbid is that? Think about that for a second. But he beats down on Sami Zayn and Trick Williams stands tall. But I'm going to give my actual thoughts on this segment in a second, because genuinely I love this. I love this segment. It was so funny. Like, I was laughing my head off during like the whole of it. It was brilliant, and some of the use of AI was absolutely brilliant throughout the show. Like, they're showing Gingy in all the big moments of WWE. It was absolutely brilliant. This could have went down horribly, but the fans absolutely loved this, and so did I. So 100%, this is maybe one of the top 10 comedy segments in WWE, maybe ever. I don't know if that's a hot take, but it was so fun. I really enjoyed this, and it sets up a really fun Backlash match for this point. I don't know what's going to happen at Backlash now, because now Gingy can't revive and my Undertaker prediction is now dead. But technically I was right, so you know what, I'm taking half a point now. But yeah, a really fun way to end SmackDown. I did enjoy it. That is it for my SmackDown review. Hopefully you enjoyed some of my opinions and maybe hot takes during this, because this was a really fun episode of SmackDown with a little bit of meh in the middle, but the rest of it was really good. But yeah, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. And I will see you for Backlash review tomorrow. Root to, and I'm